So EA is going to drop yet another great SBC. The market is rising and there are still investments for you guys to go and make. So in today's video, we are going to be covering all of that. But before we do start, if you guys are interested, I do have a daily subscriber trading guide, which you can get for free with Amazon Prime. All you got to do is click on the top link in the video. And as I say, you can subscribe for free with Amazon Prime, or it is £5, €5 or $6. You get yourself daily updated investments, you get yourself daily updated trading data, and there are lists of players you can go and sell on for lazy buyers. So without further ado, let's go and talk about what content EA dropped, because EA dropped some big content that had a high impact on the market. Now EA, as at the moment, it seems to be having it's a bit of a weird one. They're either releasing the best value for money SBCs, or they're just releasing overpriced SBCs. There don't really seem to be too much in between. But yesterday we went and got ourselves this Turam. Turam is coming in at 60k, and 60k is a extremely fair price. We're looking at a 80 plus stat on all cards, plus the card is still live. I think, if I'm not wrong, Juventus literally already have 2 wins. So I think we're about 2 weeks of this card receiving an upgrade, which is insane. 6'4". He's got himself playstyles absolutely everywhere. He's got passing playstyles. He's got himself defending playstyles. He's got himself relentless, which means for me as someone who just abuses RB, super useful right there. So yeah, a really nice card. We thought this card would come out about 200 to 300k. It came out at 60k, generally about a fifth. And regarding play roles, he's got box to box, which I think, if I'm not wrong, is the most desirable centre mid player player role to have. But yeah, a really nice card. He's got a nice pace split right there, and again, he's really balanced. And he should be making everyone's teams, especially with all of the recent SBCs, such as Godfrey, Varane, Saint Maxim, Thuram, and we've had an abundance of Serie A player Serie A promo cards as well that will go and make people's teams. So what has he gone and done? Well, obviously he's a really demanded card, but interesting enough, let me go and show you what he's done to fodder. So we start off by looking at the lowest rated fodder he could impact, because it is a 84 and an 85 rated team with a team of the week. And 85s went from around about 3k up to 4k. 86s went from 6k to 7k. 87s went from 11.5 to 12k. 88s went from about 18 to 19k. And that's about it. So it's crazy, because I'll show you in a sec. He's had such a massive impact on stuff, meaning he is very heavily done. But fodder hasn't really risen. In previous years, we'd expect maybe 86s to go from 3k to like 6k, because again, it is a highly desired SBC. But this is just credit to how much fodder is supplied this year. If that's weekend league, squad battles, division rival rewards, and on top of that, we do obviously have the discard or the duplicate exchange. So the rises in fodder this year have been very minute compared to what it could have been. And unless we go and see ourselves a combo of loads of well-demanded SBCs, that's just how it's going to be this year. Because unless there are like 2, 3, 4 SBCs before a resupply, fodder's just going to consistently be in the circulation. So resupply is going to be Thursday with division rivals, and basically Friday, Saturday with weekend league rewards, which means you have SBCs between Sunday to Wednesday to rise the fodder in the first part. The second part is SBCs between Thursday evening and maybe Friday evening to rise fodder. So yeah, I say the fodder's had a start. The only problem is the SBCs that are leaked later in the week aren't expected really to go and rise fodder too much. Well, something that did rise a lot was the link investments. And here's just a little interesting thing. So actually, I did a little bit of research last year, because the market is expected to peak on Tuesday this week. Why is it expected to peak on Tuesday this week? It peaked on Tuesday every single week last year, and the market actually peaked on Tuesday last week. So it's a very consistent trend. Why did this occur? Potentially because, I don't know, people, Wednesday content onwards, people are selling. I mean, maybe there's a high saturation of listing Friday to Sunday because of weekend league. Then it kind of stops off and people panic buy stuff, and the market rises Sunday to Tuesday. That's how I don't really have to give an explanation, because the thing is, it just occurs. It occurs every year, and it seems to occur even this year. So I was actually looking at, okay, well, what about link investments? The link investments go against this trend. And what's crazy is last year we really did not have any well-demanded SBCs at the beginning. Like the equivalent of this week, we had like Diego Carlos, he wasn't very well-demanded. Jonathan David, he wasn't very well-demanded. The only demanded SBC we had early game last year was the likes of Kudos. So I was looking at how Kudos did. And the first week Kudos came out, he actually peaked out on the Monday and then dropped. And then the second sort of week, he then peaked on the Monday, Tuesday. So this is why, even though these link investments have done very well. I'm not quite sure if they actually will rise past Tuesday, but it's quite a hard one to check because, again, Kudos was the only well-demanded player, and this was 1 week after Kudos came out. But yeah, so again, regarding these link investments we're going to cover, I do kind of recommend selling on Tuesday, but there is obviously a gamble and holding it through to the weekend. Well, how did the link investments do? Very nicely. Valal went from 100, he went up to 120 during the night, and he's held 120. Costa went from 80, went all the way to 111, so obviously a nice 30k rise. Brolin didn't do too well. He went from 286 up to 339, but back down there to 320. So like proportionately, didn't actually do that well whatsoever. Mianganong went from 17.5 to 28. Breme, you guys have probably seen left, right and centre, went from 28 extinct at 60. Potentially going to go back to extinct at 60 between now and Tuesday. Inform Breme went from 140 to 201. When the Turam SBC did come out, I did go and recommend people buying Breme, even inflated at 155. So I guess people listened to my advice there. They've made some very good money. With Ed Martinez, again, a player recommended earlier on in that day, I think for 135, is up to 160. Diani, again, another player recommended earlier in that day. She went from 52 up there to 62. Dembele, another person I recommended earlier in the day for 130, is now up to 146. And DeMarco, someone I recommended earlier in the week at 85. And again, lots of people are like, oh, should I sell him? He's 120, he's 140. And I was still recommending people buying DeMarco at 125k because I knew that RTKs keep rising till Tuesday. So I recommend people buying at 85. I recommend people buying at, I think it was like 105. I recommended people buying at 125, and he's 160. And again, he should continue rising to Tuesday. And then if we follow last year's trends, he should drop Tuesday to Thursday. Now, maybe not guaranteed because, of course, the insane demand in comparison to other RTK cards. But last year, every RTK card peaked on the Monday evening, kind of Tuesday midday, and then dropped to Thursday. Again, there is arguments that he will counter that trend, but I mean, if you want to go and play it safe, you can go and sell on Tuesday. Interesting thing, even the top end market rose for a 60k SBC even rose the top end market. Now the market was anticipated to rise anyway, and we'll talk a little bit about the market in a bit. But then we can see the likes of Liao here went from 470 up there to 500 and still holding a high price. So that is the link investments, and again, link investments and the rest of the market is expected to rise till Tuesday, probably just before 6 PM content. And then traditionally it goes and drops. Now what's quite interesting is go and check, okay, well, Thuram's really good value for money. What did Thuram go and do for the players he's replacing? Because obviously the players he's linking with are rising nicely. The fodder didn't rise amazingly. That's the weird thing about the fodder is how much those link investments rose in comparison to how much the fodder rose. It just shows that fodder must be so heavily supplied because blatantly it's demanded, but there's just so much supply to eat up of demand. Well, how did centre mids do? We got someone like De Jong went from 83 down there to 69, back there to 71. He should rebound between today to Tuesday, but it should be quite slow because the demand for him is definitely nulled because of the likes of Thuram. But then Camavinga went from 8.5 down to 3.9, has rebounded a little bit since. Got Tonali went from 38 down there to 27. We then got Barella, direct comparison, went from 67 down there to 47. Not really rebounding. Bellingham, quite an interesting one, went from 290 down to 278, rebounded to 288, and still 278. So Bellingham took a bit of a hit of 10k. And the reason, why did Bellingham not take more of a hit? They're not the most comparable cards in the world. We're talking French Juventus, which, don't get me wrong, are not bad links, but they're not quite Real Madrid. Real Madrid links are literally the most premium in the game because they've got all the top end players. Obviously, you've got Bellingham, Mbappe, Rodrigo, Vinicius Jr., Rudiger, Mendy, Valverde. You don't get more premium links when it comes to Real Madrid. Whereas obviously when I was showing you the link investments, the best they had for Juventus was Breme, and that's really all you had to work with. So yeah, Patry, most popular centre mid, went from 50 down there to 43, has rebounded to 46. Since now, here's where I got really screwed over, and I knew this was I knew this was a bit of a worry. So I was icon trading all day, but going into 6 PM, I basically went and picked up quite a lot of centre mids. And I knew there was a risk on buying centre mids going into the Thuram SBC, but like I said earlier, we expected Thuram to come out as a 2 to 300k SBC. Obviously, EA's been a bit all over the shop with prices, but him being 60k for that card is significantly underpriced. So yeah, sadly, I was doing a lot of icon trading yesterday, and I did go and pick up a lot of centre mids, probably in the panic selling, because I actually researched it. A lot of the centre back icons didn't actually drop with Varane, so I thought, okay, I'll be okay with these. So I mean, it's not looking bad because again, I did go and buy Schweinsteiger. I did get them at decent prices. I got them at 460, and I mean, even since the SBC's been out, He's had 460 sales. He's had a 470 right there. He's had 470, so I'm not going to lose any coins on them. But where I was anticipating and making some really good profit, I'll probably go and sell these closer to break even. Probably miss out maybe 150k's worth of profit because I think these cards are going to be slow. I don't think there's any point me down. I mean, they should rise going into Tuesday, but I kind of like to get my coins freed and make my coins with trading rather than just holding on to stuff. So I got a little bit screwed over anticipating the SBC being cheaper than it was, but I knew the risk going into it. I'm not really that fussed. So yeah, let's go ahead and have a look at some of the top cards. Again, he was selling at 510k. He's now down to about 460. And then I also had Gattuso, who was selling at 190. He's down at 160. Lampard was selling at 315, and he's down to I think about 280. So that's where personally I took a bit of a hit. But again, we'll sell at break even, and I don't think it'll be too big of a deal. Yesterday made probably about 300k with Icon trading. So with selling these cards at break even, I will live. So what else did we go and get yesterday? Well, we went and got ourselves the new Evo of the Cannon, and this is kind of where we made some other coins on the stream yesterday, recommended by Brennan Johnson at 700 coins, and the vast majority of the viewers were able to go and sell them for 3.5 to 4k. So really, really nice right there. Regarding the cards, obviously they make some decent cards, but with how this year's FIFA works, I'm not that big. They make nice cards, but they make nice cards if you could play them in other positions. For example, this guy right here, it's not a bad right back. Don't get me wrong, right? Like 92 defending, but 88 pace. It's not the strongest. Obviously, I mean, what's his playstyles looking like? He's got no defending playstyles. That's the thing is, if you could go and throw this guy into CDM or centre mid in game, I'm sure he'd potentially be an absolute monster. But I just wouldn't be that much of a fan playing him in left mid, right wing, because he's obviously got 69 shooting. So you're gonna have to play him in right back, and then arguably he's not quite fast enough for right back. But yeah, I mean, it makes an okay card, but is it worth 50k plus probably about 10-15 games? I don't personally think so. Then we moved on to Brennan Johnson. Brennan Johnson again's got quite a nice card. Very, very rapid. His dribbling's not too bad. The only worry is that he's 6'1", and obviously we know what people who are 6'1" are like at dribbling. As a 6'3" man myself, I can tell you, not the most agile of people. I mean, what's he looking like? He does have 96 agility given, but 72 balance is probably a little bit of a worry. So I'd maybe wait for reviews to come out before slumming 50k into this guy. But yeah, definitely looks like one of the best options. You can also obviously play striker, which is quite a nice utility. Also a nice link to Heung-min Son, who can sometimes be a bit of a nightmare to go and get links into. Weah seemed to be a little bit popular yesterday because of obviously them dropping Thuram and Thuram having a lack of links. So yep, Weah could end up with a right back card with 93 pace. That's a bit more like it. 93 pace, 85 physical, and he's 6 foot. Yeah, it would be really nice. Obviously, I don't want to use him in the attack. Although 93 pace, 82 shooting, and 87 dribbling actually isn't too bad. But yeah, it would be an absolutely monstrous right back. Maybe that card's worth closer to 50k, especially if you bear in mind that Thuram's really good value for money. So maybe because he's really good value for money, you then go and pay a little bit more to go and get him linked up into different teams. So that is the content. Let's go and talk a little bit about how the market was. Now, because this was week in League One, we weren't quite sure what the market was going to be doing. We don't have set in stone trends. We don't have that this is the cheapest point and the market's going to rise from it, because it's the first week in League we've got 15 games. It's the first week in League that the rewards are like they are. So nothing was too set in stone. It was all quite a lot of guesswork really. And yeah, so we've kind of learned something. We learned that the cheapest point all weekend was basically midnight/early AMs between Saturday to Sunday. This is because this is probably, previously it would have been Sunday evening, and I'll be honest with you, it still could be Sunday evening. The reason it was traditionally Sunday evening is because we'd always have hero and icon packs. Because we'd have hero and icon packs on the Sunday evening, the market would drop for them and then rebound during the week. But what we saw here was we saw the market being very low between the Saturday evening to the Sunday. Again, this is potentially because we didn't have an icon SBC to drop them on the Sunday, or because it is 5 less games this week. People are potentially just wrapping their weekend leagues up earlier, and players are getting sold on. Well, let's say, what's it called? Nico Williams went down there to 100k. He then did go and rebound all the way up there to 1010. He is down a little bit since. It's a little bit unfortunate because, again, I recommended some of these guys who had really good rebounds between here to here. But obviously, since the Thuram SBC, a lot of people are kind of changing their teams up. Now, these cards should rise till Tuesday, but the best investments are going to be the guys who linked to Thuram, which wasn't fully expected because, of course, you know, he wasn't known to be a 60k SBC yesterday morning with obviously EA's pricing. But, you know, luckily I did recommend a few French players and a few Serie A players, so I have been lucky enough to capitalise on it. It's just some of the players who were anticipated to do the best because of them having really good rises in previous days, didn't necessarily do the best because people were changing their teams up. Chiesa again here, the cheapest it was 122, did get up to 140 and is 132 now. Again, Rafinha, another player recommended, was 47 in the morning, got up there to 57, is back down to 53. Rodrigo was 123, did get up there to 137 and down to 131. Now the interesting thing is that the market this morning didn't quite get as low as yesterday morning. So for example, yesterday morning it got down to 123, and even though yes it is back down, it only got down to 128, meaning again it was the cheapest to go and buy on Sunday. We're now going to talk about Team of the Weeks. They had the same sort of trend where they were the cheapest through the whole week on the, well, we've got a Saturday morning here, but the Sunday morning wasn't bad as well. She was down at 30k, now she is up to 35k. We now move on to Martinelli, again, cheapest right here, Sunday morning at about 40k, dig up to 49k and is back still at 47. Then move to Van der Ven, who was the cheapest here, again, early hours of Sunday morning, 150, now up to 170. At a Militao, I imagine it's going to be the same thing. There we go, cheapest 200k, got up now to 220. And yeah, that is that. Now, regarding these cards, they should rise till Tuesday and drop out of packs. So far, there haven't been any Team of the Weeks that haven't dropped going into Wednesday. So these should follow suit. Some of them have rebounded after Wednesday. Some of them literally have kept dropping through to Sunday. So I just recommend selling these guys on Tuesday. Now, that is the Team of the Weeks. How did Road to Knockout Stage Team 1 do? Well, like we showed you with DeMarco earlier, DeMarco's gone from 85 to 160. We're verging on a double in about 5-6 days, which is kind of crazy. Well, the other players have also done very well with since rewards. Watkins went from 97, got up there to 107, and again will continue rising until Tuesday. Again, here's DeMarco. We still recommended him at 125, went up there to 160. Romero went from 155. He's already up to 170 as well. Obviously, Van der Beek did get panic sold a little bit, but he should go back up again. I mean, he went from 16k all the way up there to 19k. And yeah, so RTK Team 1 still rising nicely. RTK Team 2, we've said earlier, or in previous days, that you're going to go and buy these Wednesday evening, Thursday morning. Well, how are these cards doing? Well, yesterday they didn't really react too much. I mean, they went on average on Saturday for 441, average Saturday 365, but actually during the day they didn't do too much. They started Sunday morning at 388 and kind of ended up at about 370. So not much movement with the likes of Garnacho, which again is one of the best investments. Same with Bron, again started Sunday morning at about 60, ended kind of around about 60, so nothing crazy there. We then head to Gusto, who again started the morning at around about 409, ended the morning at about 390. And that's that. So there are your RTKs again. We're going to buy them Wednesday evening, Thursday morning. Now to go and wrap the video up, we're just going to talk about some investments because your investments are a little bit limited. Meta cards are expected to rise between today to Tuesday, but I don't know if there'll really be a crazy amount in it, you know, unless there is some sort of low fluctuations. I mean, one of the only investments you guys can go and make at the moment is pre-Team of the Week. Pre-Team of the Week, again, a gold card to a favour to get a Team of the Week. They can either rise in the hype or they can do nicely out of packs. Now, because we are expecting a hero guaranteed, well, a max 87 rated hero SBC next Sunday, high rated fodder should be quite decent out of packs this week because they'll get rare during the, after they go out of packs, and then they should absolutely explode when being required for the hero SBC on Sunday. So Lewandowski got himself 3 goals, making him a nice investment. On top of that, if we look at the price of other 88s, they are going for 19k. You're paying a 700 coin premium for someone who's going to be out of packs for 7 days. I think that's a nice little buy there on Lewandowski. But then move on to Gaza. Gaza actually saved 3 penalties in his game. He saved 1 penalty, and then I think they had to retake it. He saved it again, and then later in the game he saved yet another penalty. So nice buy right there. Why would Gaza be demanded? Well, actually, if we have a look, this guy can absolutely bang given the right generic SBCs. Here's a generic SBC where he went from 900 coins to 2.8. Here's another generic SBC where he went from 1.4 to 2.6. Here to go down to about 800 coins, and again, it is dependent on getting those right sort of puzzle SBCs, challenge SBCs, but this guy can do very, very nicely out of packs. Now, an interesting take is Team of the Week. Now, Written is a very, very cheap Team of the Week. Now, there's arguments that Lewandowski might get a cheap Team of the Week, but basically, I was talking about this on stream that because we are expecting a hero pack next week and an icon pack the week after, and obviously Varane's out for 90 days and Written's being used there. the odds on us getting a high-rated team of the week that will potentially be as cheap as written, I think is actually quite low. Because obviously the only team of the weeks that can get 89 plus team of the weeks is probably about a pool of 20, 25 players. And half of those are going to have super expensive team of the weeks. So for example, I was going through the 88 rated team of the weeks yesterday. We're saying, well, you know, Mead's got 5-star skills. She probably won't be a discard in form. Corbel, if I'm not wrong, is the best Bundesliga goalkeeper. I'm not convinced he'd be a discard in form. Paredes could be a discard in form, but Barcelona links. Endler would be a discard in form. Oblak might be a discard in form. Bernardo Silva I don't think would be a discard in form. Renard would be a discard in form. Diaz I wouldn't be that convinced would be a discard in form. Edison I don't think would. Dabina wouldn't. And basically what we're saying there's probably a limited amount of 88 rated players that actually would end up being discard in forms. Like given, we wouldn't have probably thought Ritten was a discard in form. But the idea is that because it's quite hard to get high rated in forms, and we were actually looking at last year's team of the weeks, it took about 10 team of the weeks to get a super high rated discard in form last year. She could be a really, really nice sort of longish term out of pack investment because she'll rise every single week. There isn't another high rated in form. Now again, we are getting Lewandowski this week, but I wouldn't be that convinced Lewandowski will be closer to discard as she will, especially as Lewandowski has a playstyle plus and she doesn't have a playstyle plus. And obviously, again, I'd say Barcelona men's is substantially more demanded than Chelsea women's in terms of demand. So there is a buy on her, about 33, 34. They might be holding on to her for a week or two. But that is going to go and wrap up the video. Thank you very much for watching. As always, we'll be streaming from 8 till 6:30. So any questions, do make sure to drop them in. We'll be doing loads of icon trading, shadow trading, and everything in between. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys tomorrow with a brand new video.